Thank you for joining us at GBN Live. We would like to thank our sponsor today, Grand Strand Law Group. Their phone number is 843-492-5422. Myrtle Beach and North Myrtle Beach areas. You can contact them at grandstrandlawgroup.com. We would like to have you comment and ask any questions. If you would like to go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, you can ask us any questions during the time today, and we will gladly answer it for you. Stay tuned. GBN Live is next. Today our guest is Megan Cooke with Simplified Screening. Megan is in the North Myrtle Beach Chapter of GBN Live. Welcome. We're glad to have you. We'd like to know a little bit about yourself, where you're originally from, a little bit about your family, who you are, anything you'd like to tell us about yourself.
Okay. So I am 27. I'm a single mother of a beautiful 2-year-old boy and a 5-year-old pink butt lab. I originally am from Oxford, North Carolina. I lived in La Place, Louisiana for about 10 years. Moved after Hurricane Katrina. Got back to Creedmoor, North Carolina, which is probably got one stoplight and a Bojangles. Graduated high school from there and then moved out to Chapel Hill to get my bachelor's. Lived in Virginia for 6 years. Got my master's from Liberty, and then in February moved out here.
How do you like it?
I love it. There is nothing better. I was in the valley, so it was either a bunch of snow or just really, really cold in the winter. And so, as you see, I do not like winter. I like summer, and being at the beach is just.
I don't like winter either, but I've just coming from Colorado.
I'm vetoing the winter. It's not going to happen. So.
Yes, it will tomorrow, I've heard. So tell us a little bit about Simplified Screening. Who are they? What do they do? What do you enjoy most about it?
Okay. So Simplified Screening came from a little thought bubble in the founder's mind. He's really good at ideas, and he likes to make those come to life. So he partnered with a couple people to get it started. Those partnerships didn't work out. Lucky for me, because I got to step into the role that I'm playing. I basically run Simplified. So we are a pre-employment background screening company. We do a plethora of services from criminal record checks to drug tests, employment verifications to motor vehicle records. So our goal ultimately is to partner with local companies and companies across the nation to make sure that they are doing the best they can in their background screening, make sure they know who they're hiring and where to put them in their company.
So let's break it down a little bit. Criminal background check.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do it, and what is it best for the employer for, other than learning that you don't have a criminal in your employment?
Yeah, so there's two facets to that. Criminal records, we run them to make sure, obviously, you're placing people in the right areas, and that there aren't any major concerns. Negligent hiring is a huge thing. There are big lawsuits. There are actually lawyers who are employment lawyers who are looking for opportunities in criminal records where, you hired this person and they hurt someone else, and now you're getting sued for that. We like to bring awareness. It's not that you should never hire a convict, because 18 years old, we know we all made mistakes. That person got high one day, got caught. So we're not saying that you shouldn't hire criminals or you shouldn't hire ex-convicts. There's actually a lot of programs working with ex-convicts to get them employed and reduce recidivism. We always check court records. So lucky for us, automation has been a really key factor in getting turnaround time down. About 85% of our records are automated through the court. So our system speaks to the court and we get those back fairly quickly. If there is a record, we have people go out to those courts, pull the file, read through the file, make sure it is who they say they are. And so it's not John Doe with birthday 1989. And we have John Doe with birthday 79. We're actually looking at those records to make sure we're reporting correctly.
So is there a specific database you look for, or do you go straight to the court? Because if you go straight to the court, which court? So how do you go about?
Yeah.
What's your favorite way to do it?
So how I would do it and how we do it with our company, there's always a social security number validation and trace. What that does is it gives me 7 years of residency. And that comes from credit data, applications, loans. It's pulled through a plethora of different areas to give us that information of where you've been. We look at that, any counties you've lived, any states you've lived, we run those from that. And then we use our national criminal database search, which is not valid. So any databases are not valid information. They're not up to date typically. They're not going to give you disposition. So we only use it as pointer data. So what the national crime does is it lets me know, hey, you went to Vegas, and what happens in Vegas does not stay in Vegas. So everyone knows. But you punch someone in the face, you got an assault charge, you said no one's ever going to know. In Vegas, I was drunk. Well, I will see, this person is this person. They were in Vegas. So any vacations, if you have family in places that you don't live, if there are counties around where you live that you tend to speed more in, that gives me that information to follow up in a court. So the court is the most localized, and that's what we like to use. There are states like North Carolina, New York, Wisconsin, Washington, they have a unified court system. So that makes my life a whole lot easier because instead of running each county, every county has to report to the state. And so we can run a state search, and that gives me all 216 counties versus having to check each individual one.
So with standard industry for background checks and stuff, time frame. Is there a time frame? What if they are filling out their application and they omit a place where they've lived because they know they did something there? How do you find those?
Mm-hmm. So that's where that social security trace comes into play. Social security number is very unique to people. Mm-hmm. So we can validate it, and then we can say, oh, they've actually lived in all these places. And so that gives me that little piece. For the other part of that, remind me what did you ask specifically?
Time frame.
Mm-hmm. 7 years. So we follow a 7-year for any convictions, and then we report pending. Pending is just, hey, they've been arrested. There is no disposition. You really can't make a decision off of that, but we can follow up in future court dates to see how that goes. But convictions are super important, and the FCRA states go by 7 years, but we just stick to the 7 years.
So if you committed something before the 7 years?
So it depends. I know there are states that we follow because you have to. So like California, 7 years is all you can report. It's a 7-year state. There's nothing I can do to exclude that information. If it's South Carolina, it's not a 7-year state, then I can report a conviction for however long. So if we have a felony assault or a felony armed robbery, then we can't report that. We like to say, those for instances, if it's 10 years, they've had 3 jobs, check with their employers. We talk a little bit about employment verifications, but check with their employers between the time, because if they've rehabbed in that, then why penalize them for something they've done 10 years ago?
Yeah. So what is a successful criminal record?
Well, there's no such thing as a successful criminal record and definition. How I would look at a successful criminal record is we are following all federal, local, state laws. My client is happy with the product I'm providing them. We're doing it in a time efficient manner, and we're making sure it's as accurate as possible. If you look up successful background check, you probably won't get an answer. So that's how I would like to define it. We're doing it as quickly as possible, as efficiently as possible, and effective and accurate.
Have you ever run a background check for fun? Like you've met somebody and you want to know if
not allowed. So unless I want to admit to breaking federal law on camera, which I don't, the FCRA, you have to have authorization consent from whoever you're running a background check on. So when I do my background checks, you get an email, you fill out this information that says, hey, I know you're running a background check. Hey, I'm authorizing that. And then you sign any disclosures for the state levels.
Okay. Well, something I wouldn't have thought of is, what about an education verification? How can you do that?
So we do education verifications. Typically, we partner with the student clearinghouse or we'll call registrar. Really important because it allows you to make sure that the education that you're looking for is actually valid. I don't know if you've been looking through the internet for different colleges that give you pseudo diplomas or pseudo colleges. There are a lot of them you can pay for a diploma that comes from University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, but it's in New York. And so checking that to make sure it's from an accredited school and that it's accurate is important to make sure that you are getting valid information.
That's smart.
So
what about employment verifications? What do you look for?
So employment verifications on two sides. DOT requires, we're not going to require in January, which is kind of nice, but they require different questions to make sure that there are no violations of alcohol or drug testing. But what you're really looking for in employment verification is their character. How hard were they working? Did they actually work at the place that they listed? Because about 78% of people or applicants, they will give extra information or they'll hide something like we talked about with they lived in this county, they're not going to tell you. Same thing, if you had a bad employer, a lot of times they're not going to list what happened or what went wrong or that they were hired. So we kind of get to see if they're eligible for rehire, what their character is like, were they hardworking, and will they fit in your company?
So right now we're going to go to a break. After we come back, we will go in more detail. So stay tuned and we will see you shortly.
Hi, I'm Justice Ann. I've been a canine liaison at Grand Strand Law Group for, 30 years? What's that? You don't believe me? I meant 30 dog years, of course. First rule of lawyering, read the fine print. Anywho, my humans at Grand Strand Law Group have a combined 20 years experience. I know, not as much as me, but that's in people years. So yeah, still pretty impressive. Real estate, estate planning, or probate, you need GSLG.
Grand Strand Law Group. Trust us, we have a dog.
Great Business Networking grew out of the idea that by creating lasting friendships within the community, we can make the community even better.
I was looking to network with professionals and to be able to refer my clients to somebody that I trust.
Well, it's really important to trust the members of the group because we really generate quality referrals, and to know somebody, be friends with them, and get that qualified referral is the key to success.
It is networking, but it doesn't feel like networking, and that is important to me. I come to the meetings, I have fun, I make great connections, and I help grow my business.
GBN, these are some of the best professionals in the market, and having that resource available to me, that's priceless.
Well, GBN is a network of business professionals that build long-lasting friendships that will not only grow my business, will grow yours as well. That's what referral marketing is all about.
GBN really is the most important marketing for your business. Check us out today.
So before the break, we talked about different types of verifications and everything else. There are several more I'm sure that we won't even get into, but let's talk about social media.
Yeah. So social media is a huge thing, especially in this day and age. We have come up with new ways of looking at social media. I don't know if you've looked at discrimination as a huge piece in HR and in the workplace. What we do is we take that off HR sense. If you go on someone's social media, whether or not they're looking for it or not, and they're posting about their religion, their sexual orientation, you see what color skin they have, you're opening yourself up to discrimination. Or them saying, hey, you didn't hire me because you looked at my profile and you saw this. So the way we do social media is we take it off your hands. We look at any public records that are posted, and that comes from likes, reshares, you name it. So if you click and you like something, it has vulgar language, it has scenes like violence, or there's a lot of nudity, guns, drugs, you name it. It pops up on our social media report, and we can report that back to you. What that does is it reduces that chance of discrimination. Now you're just seeing where things are flagged, and you're able to look through and say, okay, well, this person posts a lot about violence. They're not going to fit in the culture of our workplace, as we are a non-violent type workplace.
So when you look at social media, do you look for like keywords, and do they do that, or do you just look through everything?
Yeah, so we pull their any of their profiles from the email that we obtain, and then we look at, you can put keywords in there if you like. If you have specific keywords that you're looking for, whether it be political, you're looking for, I don't know, marijuana, right? We can pull those up. Typically, we have about 10 that are just normalized. We're talking about the violence, the drugs, sex, nudity, all that stuff, and we can pull those and report it. So if you have very specific language that you're like, this will not fit in my culture, we can put that in there as well.
So how do motor vehicle screenings go into effect for anything?
Motor vehicle records are really important. I say this a lot with general contractors, landscapers. If you have someone you're putting in your vehicles, it's really important to be checking their driving record for a multitude of reasons. You can get insurance reductions and discounts for having motor vehicle records checked if you have people in your vehicles. 2, you don't want to be negligent. Again, putting someone in your vehicle that has a history of DUIs or crashes, wrecks, you may name it. One, your insurance premium is going to hit the roof, but also you could potentially come into a problem if they run into someone, hurt someone. Now you have a liability in your hands. So we like to do them. We do them DOT-wise. So DOT regulates that you have to do motor vehicle records, and we also do continuous monitoring. So if you have people in your vehicles and you want to check within 30 days, we're updated on if they've been in a crash, if they've been in a wreck, and we can apply education to that, so remediation. So if they have speeding and you keep seeing that they're speeding, you can pull them out for a day, give them some education on that, and then get them back in the car. Or you can pull them completely if they're doing something they really shouldn't be doing. So it reduces risk.
So have you ever worked with a bounty hunter or a private investigator?
No, I have not, but that probably would be a good idea. Find some people.
Yeah.
I'm
So
imagining that was one of the questions that was asked.
So compliance issues with drug testing and stuff like that. Do you guys do the drug testing? And do you have a facility, or do you go into the workplace, or?
Yeah, so we partner with LabCorp and Quest. Those are 2 big drug testing facilities. We're able to go through our platform and get the chain of custody, get it scheduled to the closest facility to the applicant. So we try to make it as easy as possible. If the HR wants to go in and order it closest to the facility, that's fine. But a lot of times we allow the applicants to put in their address, see what's the closest facility, and then we give a window of time. Typically it's 2 days, excluding weekends, to get that drug test in. The results are reported right back to me. We have an MRO on staff, so they will check, they will call if they have a positive, if they need to verify. Someone asked me the other day about poppy seeds. Poppy seeds, there is a range that these poppy, you cannot have enough poppy seed bagels, muffins to make it positive. So that is not really a good excuse. So
Just
if
don't
you're
want
looking
buy
to
the poppy
to
seeds
get
and
over
wait.
on somebody, don't do poppy seeds. There's a range that falls where poppy seed would fall into to make it not positive.
So we've got some questions for you. Little rapid fire questions.
Okay.
What was your first job?
Sonic. And yes, I did wear the rollerblades. It was terrible. I
As
thought
I'm
I was
bringing
gonna
my 44 ounce this morning.
love Sonic.
But I'm a cook, so we'll just leave it at So are you a night owl or an early bird?
Oh, I'm a really weird.
You have to be with the kid.
I do.
Yeah. Cat or dog person?
Dog.
I know you said you had a dog, but
She's a pain in the butt, and I love her. But no more dogs after this. But I love dogs like other people's dogs because I don't have to deal with them.
I was going to say they kind of keep you from being free and going places and doing things.
They do
So I
all
thought
the
we were
things,
going to take care of the dog.
I'm really a cow person. Like if someone wants to get me a cow for Christmas, I'm good
So
for
have you
it.
ever gone cow tipping? No,
No.
I'm kidding. You know, Texas, so. Dark or milk chocolate?
Dark.
Okay. Favorite color?
Blue.
Favorite word or phrase?
Onomatopoeia.
Favorite movie?
The Green Mile.
Favorite song?
Girls just want to have fun.
Do you have a favorite vacation spot?
The mountains.
Or
Asheville.
I wish I could go there.
Cool. I wish I could go a lot of. I want to go to Africa.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go like hang out with the lions in the safari. Probably want to pet a lion, but I don't know if that could
I should
happen.
talk to my daughter.
Okay. I will do that.
She went to she got to do a bunch of that stuff. Favorite mobile app?
GBN, and I love me some Instagram.
Yeah. Now that's one thing I have not done too much on.
It has all my little I like fitness stuff, so I'm always scrolling through all the fitness stuff and the funny videos. Those get me. I'll be on there for hours just watching this.
You can get lost in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what happens if an applicant feels like the information is inaccurate? Is there something they can do, something they can prove that it wasn't them, or does that happen?
It does happen. So while we like to think courts are always up to date, they're not always up to date. And they're definitely, it's still people mandated, right? People have to input stuff, they have to remove stuff. And if you fought a battle and you've gotten something dismissed, it may not be updated yet. So I may get something different than what you're seeing. If that's the case, if there is an inaccuracy in your report, I can send out the consumer report. So anytime I report anything that's adverse or could be seen as adverse, so anytime I see a flag on our records, we're sending out a notification that says, hey, just so you know, we're reporting this to your employer. And then we send a consumer copy so they can review. If they review, say this isn't me, we have on our website, which is www.simplified-screening.com, there's a dispute button. You can download those forms, send them right over to myself, and then I will look through it. If there's something with the court that I can't, I obviously will do a further investigation. We'll get the applicant on the phone. We'll call the court because they will need them, and we'll try to get that figured out. If the court says, no, this is the person and this is what they have, then I can't do anything further. But a lot of times we'll find that, okay, yeah, I see that this went to court last week. We haven't inputted it. And so we can kind of remove that information, resend a report to the employer, and then.
So it doesn't necessarily mean they didn't do it, but it should be reported.
Mm-hmm. So we have things, I always report reportable things. If someone went to court on an assault charge, but it was dismissed, well, there was not enough evidence to prove that they were guilty or they were not guilty. So we don't report places where you may have been charged for something and it's been dismissed in court because clearly that you are not guilty of that.
So if an employer wants to contact you, how would they get started? I mean, what, say there's an employer looking out right now and they're thinking, man, you would help my business because then I would reduce my liability on people that are contacted by them and stuff. How would they find you and how would they get started?
Well, they can find me on any social media platform. First name Megan, last name Cooke with an E. If not, my phone number is 540-355-6592. I'm not afraid to say that because I have people call me from California. You can give me a call. I'll walk you through so I consult with you. What are you currently doing? Who are you running them through? What do you think is coming from this package? Here's what I would do. And then we talk about pricing. I run through a demo of our platform. It's a really cool, nifty platform. Everything's included in there. So it's like a one-stop shop. And it only requires a couple pieces of information from HR. And then we go forward. If not, on our website, you can hit the button that says request a demo. It sends an email right to our team. Get a demo scheduled, and then I am in a bunch of groups, so I'm always around here. So if it's local, you're likely to see me in GBN, Junior League, you name it. I'm kind of floating around the area.
Well, thank you so much for coming and informing us of what you do and some of the fun stuff that you get to do.
Oh yeah, it's always fun.
So if you'd like to get a hold of Megan Cooke, again, she just said it, but her phone number is 540-355-6592, and it's simplified-screening.com. So before we go, tell us why referral marketing is so important to you and your business.
Yeah, so I am a massive people person. I love people, and I've learned that in order to meet new people, get new people in my network, I have to refer, and I have to get referrals, because I may know you and you may know Bob, but I don't know Bob, right? And that's how that works. And I think the best part about referral networking is warm. You know Bob. You know what he likes, what he dislikes, why he cares about his company. And for me, that's super important, because you can tell me, hey, this is Bob. Bob started his business 30 years ago. He wants to transfer it down to his kids. It's really important you keep this client safe. And for me, it's awesome. Like, I get to know you, your family, why you do what you do, and referrals tend to.
And then Bob might know 100 people
that's right.
Your friend didn't know, or the referral that gave them to you didn't know. So
it's a big old circle.
Even more. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming, and we look forward to having you back someday and learning more about you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So, thank you for joining us. See you next week, and come visit one of our chapters. See what we can do for your business and how we can help you.